Hello, welcome back to our channel and welcome back for another part of the series question and answer wherein I'm answering the questions that are being asked by the students or by the viewers relative to our lecture on criminology matters. So after this, if you have any more questions to what I'm talking about so far in this channel, feel free to comment it down on the comment section and I will try to give answer as soon as I can. So here we go. For this video, I'm going to be talking about Margaret aka Ada Juke. I would like to clarify first that Juke is not their real family name. It is just a pseudonym given to the family in order also to protect their privacy and for them not to be discriminated or to be mocked by the nature of their family. The conduct of family tree investigation originated from the concept of the eugenics. A little bit of background with regards to eugenics. So they believe that if you would like to improve the human race as it is now, we can socially engineer it to produce the ideal race that we wanted to have as a human being. So take this for example. A person who have bad blood, bad history, bad affiliation will not be allowed to reproduce due to the belief that they will transfer the faulty genetics that they have to their offspring and would produce more defects, as they say it or claim it, of the human species. What they wanted to point out is that if we only allow those individuals who have clean family background, those with no physical disabilities, no behavioral issues, no mental problem, to be the only person to be allowed to reproduce, then it will improve the current species of the human race. Basically, that is the idea of eugenics. They wanted to improve human race by selecting the individuals who would be allowed to reproduce, just like what they are doing to animals. If they wanted to produce a higher breed of animals, they just cut off those animals that have imperfections. So I don't know guys if some of you agrees to the idea of that. For me, it is not ethical to select who would be able to reproduce and would be prohibited to reproduce. Although there are some laws that we have that actually is taken from the idea of eugenics. Just like for example, those who possess mental disabilities are not allowed to get married. Why is that? Because the law says that they don't have the capacity to perform the responsibility of becoming a husband or becoming a wife or the bigger responsibility of becoming a parent. Although it's not directly pointing out that the reason why they are not allowed to marry is because of their mental incapacity, but same point are being made with regards to these laws. So we may not know it, but there are actually some part of our law that actually adheres to the idea of eugenics. They don't want these individuals to reproduce because genes are being transferred through procreation and reproduction. Then there are tendencies that these different problems that they have will be transferred to their offsprings and will produce more like them. Why am I talking about the concept of eugenics? That is because the common evidence or proof that they are using in order to substantiate their claim with regards to eugenics are these family tree studies. So we have a lot of families that were studied during this time. Their ancestors are being traced as well as their descendants, and they try to figure out if the genetics plays part with regards to their criminal behavior. Thus, their gene predisposes them to become a criminal or to possess a criminal behavior. Okay? So that is just a little bit of background why they studied this family tree as we all know. So let's proceed to the family tree of the Juke family. As I've stated, Juke is not the real family name. They just use that in order to represent their clan. Margaret Ada Juke came from a broken family. They are originally a family of 6 female. All of them are illegitimate. And one of that is Margaret Juke. Then Margaret Juke get married, and that is the start of the tracing of her descendants. From that family, from Margaret Juke down to its current descendants during this study of her family tree was conducted, they found out an overwhelming numbers of her descendants that lives an unproductive way. From 75 years, they trace back the descendants of Ada Juke from the 75 years of her life. And they found out that 280 among the descendants of Margaret Ada Juke lives in an extremely poor condition. 280. 140 of them became criminals. 7 became murderers. 50 became prostitutes. And 440 of them were afflicted with sexual disease, and 30 were persecuted for bastardy. The overwhelming numbers of unsuccessful individuals coming from one ascendant is already interesting in the field of criminology. As I have stated, these findings of the research conducted by these anthropologists and criminologists before became the basis of the promotion of the concept of eugenics. It seems that they're claiming that, you see, that if the seeds contains imperfection, it will produce same fruits as the seeds. So we have a lot of sayings that goes with that, like the tree bears its own fruit, that clearly puts the blame of all these mishaps to their faulty genetic makeup. However, let us take it into consideration that even the researcher who conducted the research on the Juke family, Richard Dugdale, did not focus on genetics itself as the main leading factor. Why did the descendants of Margaret Ada Juke became like that? He pointed out that there are a lot of factors that plays their part in order to produce such overwhelming number of unproductive people, such as extreme poverty, disease, and the presence of criminality from the family itself. This is also my side with regards to this issue. I do believe that if genetics plays an influence with regards to the result that we had mentioned from the family tree of Margaret Ada Juke, we cannot directly put all the blame to their genetics. As I have stated, although the heredity may play part with regards to the behavior of a certain individual, but that is not all to blame. We have a lot of factors that may coexist with this existing factor with regards to their genetic problem or heredity that adds or increase the likelihood of a certain individual to turn into criminality. There are individuals, even if they have this mental problem, behavioral problem, however, they're living a prosperous life, so they have the capability to address these problems that caused by their genetics. So they can attend therapeutic sessions, They can afford medication in order to control their illnesses and many more. It's not all on genetics. Genetics or genes or your heredity plays as maybe significant or maybe a portion of the reason why a certain person will turn into criminality, but that is not all it is about. If a person, even suffering from a genetic problem, has the capability to address them with proper medication, with proper therapy, then definitely it will not result into criminality. However, if a person is already suffering from issues regarding to heredity and you add other factors such as poverty, such as family criminal history, and this environment, then as I am pointing out in my previous discussion, it will definitely increase the likelihood of that person to turn into criminality. So that is the reason. It's not all on genetics. Other factors contributed to the criminal behavior of that person. That's why he turned into criminality. So, because of the findings of Richard Dugdale, anthropologists label Margaret Juke as the mother of all criminal. This is not an official title, but I think the title was just given to her in order to exaggerate the case that they're pointing out with regards to eugenics. There is no such thing as mother of all criminal, but for the purpose of making it more appealing to the people reading about this thing, and they make it like that. They make the title for her as the mother of all criminal. Consider this as an old way of clickbaiting. In order for them to have a lot of readers, they use the term mother of all criminal. So, with no discrimination to those family who have their family name as Juke, it's not literally that all the Juke's family are family of criminals. As I've stated, Juke is just a pseudonym given to the family tree. Well, who knows what really is the family name of this family of Margaret? Okay, so even the nickname Ada was also a pseudonym given to her. The significance of this topic also to the field of criminology is with regards to heredity and criminality. You may observe that there are some individuals who belong to criminal family, and some may notice that if both the father and mother were involved into criminality, their son will follow. This is actually the case of a lot of families living in the poverty line, especially in cities like Manila and other overpopulated cities. But again, genetics or heredity is not the only reason why these people follows the criminal path that their parents or ancestors travel. Some factor may play in this, like the family upbringing. You were born into a criminal family. You were influenced by your criminal relatives. The surroundings may also play part with regards to the upbringing of the child, wherein if the society where the child lives in normalize the commission of crime and normalize bad behavior, then the child will adopt that behavior. So there are a lot of factors that we can think of that may contribute to the likelihood of a person to commit or to travel the path of criminality. And that is not to be blamed in one factor only, such as heredity. Okay? So that is with regards to the Margaret Juke family tree. And the bonus part, which is the concept of eugenics. So I do hope you learned something from this lecture. If you have questions relative to this, don't hesitate to ask. I will try to provide answer as soon as I can. That's it for today. See you next meeting.